I have been dreading this moment for a while now, but the time has come to go to the petrol station to fill up. Wish me luck.
On this video, I will be sharing with you 8 ways that I use to save petrol, not including those questionable tips such as putting your car in neutral while going downhill. Does that even make a difference? I don't know, I haven't tried it, but if you have, please put it on the comments below, because if it works, then I might as well try it. But I will be sharing with you 8 legit ways that I save on petrol to make sure I get an extra kilometer from that liter. Let's get started. Tip number 1, if you can avoid using your car at all costs, please do it. I mean, if you can walk, if you can ride a bicycle somewhere, do it, because every single cent counts and every kilometer also adds up. Think about it. So with me, what I do is that when I have to go to the groceries to get bread or something like that, something very light, not like monthly groceries or anything like that, I usually just walk to the shop and just take the scenic route, take an umbrella, get an ice lolly, and just make it a trip, get that stuff that I need quickly and come back, and I just make it a little adventure. Tip number 2, start a lift club. I don't know what I would have done had I not done this sooner. It has saved me hundreds of rands, and I'm telling you, I've been doing this for 4 years. I have a lift club that I am part of. There's 2 of us in it, so we do ride share actually. So you can choose whether you want to pay that person or you just want to ride with them. We normally just swap out weeks, so my lift buddy will drive the 1 week and I will drive the 1 week. So basically I only have to fill up petrol for 2 weeks in a month, and the other weeks I just save. The way is that if you don't have a car, put yourself out there, go onto Gumtree, go onto Facebook Marketplace, or put an advert on one of the groups asking for a lift buddy. You never know, you might find somebody who's going to the same way or the same route that you're going to, and you might be able to save. So try putting yourself out there, or form a lift club with somebody that you might work with or you might know works close to where you work, and you will save so much by doing that. Tip number 3, don't idle your car unnecessarily. Don't do that. It uses a lot of petrol. I know some people like to do that when it's winter and they want to keep the car a little bit toasty, so when they get in they warm it up and then have it a bit toasty when they get in. It uses a lot of petrol. If you can avoid that, or maybe limit it to a time frame that it's only 5 minutes or so, that's fine, but don't overdo it because it uses a lot of petrol. It really. Tip number 4, service your car. I can't say that enough. Service your car as recommended by the manufacturer. The manufacturer made the cars, they know exactly what's good for your car. It can get a bit expensive if your car is already out of service plan or out of warranty, but please make sure you have a little budget for the service because it's very important. So when the engine is being serviced, it uses the fuel more efficiently, so it only uses what it needs, not more than what it needs. So if you don't service your car, you will end up using more petrol in the long run, and you won't be saving money, and that's the whole point. We're trying to save money. Tip number 5, have one-trip drives. What I normally do is that I make the most of one trip. So if I leave the house, I normally have my shopping list with me, I have my to-do list with me, I have my errands list with me. So I try to do everything all at once, so when I come back home, I won't need to leave quickly after that to make sure that I get something that I forgot or anything like that. So always keep a running list with your shopping groceries, your to-do list as well. You can just put it together with that, and I will go to work, pick up my kids, go shopping after that, go to the library, do everything all at once. That saves me a lot of petrol because I don't have to do the running around. Tip number 6, no aircon and no heater. Yes, it might be difficult sometimes, especially when it's blazing hot or freezing cold, but you have to be right in the middle, smack bang in the middle. Choose not to have it on at all costs. It might be difficult, especially when it's very hot in traffic and you're sitting in the afternoon after work. Sometimes you just want to put it on so you can be nice and cool. What I normally do is that I will roll down the windows as I'm driving, and then when I get to a stop street or the robots, I will just roll up the windows, because we all know it's not safe driving with the windows down in Joburg. It can be very, very dangerous. So what I do is that I don't put on the aircon. And if I have to, and it's like I really have to, I only put it in for a little bit of time to just cool down the car, and after that I put it off, because it does use up a lot of petrol. Tip number 7, consider no drive days. What I normally do is that Sundays for me is a no drive. I will at all costs try not to put on my car or drive anywhere. If I need to get anywhere, I will be very creative. I'll either walk there or ask for a lift. But when it comes to taking my own car and driving myself there, it's a no-no. I don't do that. So if you can do that as well, it can usually save you a whole lot of money in the long run, because you're only driving 6 days in a week instead of the normal 7. So consider a no drive day. Final tip, avoid traffic at all costs. If it means that there's traffic at the time that you need to get to work, consider waking up early to get to work early. Have another arrangement maybe with your employer to get to work early, then leaving early as well. That's what I normally do. I leave the house before 6 o'clock just to skip the traffic, get to work very early, start grinding, and after that, after the whole day is done, I leave work early to skip the afternoon traffic. It's very easy for me to do that, and I enjoy it because I don't have to be frustrated as well. It saves me a whole lot of headache as well as a whole lot of petrol. And that'll be all. That is the final tip. The bonus one I know that other people might also have is that you need to keep your tire pressure at a recommended manufacturer's instructions. What I normally do is that I will go to fill up, and then I also check my tire pressure to make sure that the car is balanced and it's using the petrol efficiently and the tire pressure is actually where it should be. Otherwise, then it's not balanced, it will start using more petrol. You also want to keep that in check. But if you've got any more tips for me and you want to let me know, please let me know in the comments below how you save petrol. But other than that, that is all the tips that I have that I use to save petrol. Now more than ever, with the prices increasing at an astronomical rate, I mean, it will keep on rising. Let me know as well, what method of transport or mode of transport will you be using if the petrol price keeps on increasing? Will you be driving less and less, or will you start working from home? Will you be walking? Will you be cycling? Will you be using public transport? Let me know in the comments below. So I think the only option that I might have is actually to use public transport, which is also not cheap. Also in the comments below, let me know how much you spend, because I spend around 1,600 rand a month on petrol. How much do you spend? How much do you spend if you're also using public transport? How much do you put aside for your public transport expenses? Otherwise, you know what, I have to go now because petrol prices are about to increase. I want to catch it before it gets to that. You stay safe and you take care. Bye.